CURES is sponsored by Wheeler Health's Better Choice program. More at wheelerhealth.org.
Helping you lead a healthier life. This is CURES.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the CURES Show, where we explore the cutting edge of wellness from credible sources. I'm Kara Sumplin. So maybe an age-old question, is soy good for you or not? Where do you find it? We're talking about how it might be able to help women who are struggling with perimenopause, menopause, even breast cancer, or what you need to know. There are a lot of conflicting reports, some claiming it can improve health outcomes, others, perhaps outdated, urging people to avoid it. So we're diving in, and this week's CURES. Joining us now in studio is board-certified naturopathic physician, Dr. Artemis Morris. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Kara. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so I know you specialize in Mediterranean nutrition, and of course, let's just first talk about soy. What people say, what's in soy? And the answer is it's in a lot of things.
Many things. And soy, like people wanting to go more meatless Mondays, maybe they're fasting, maybe they've given up meat, they want to go more plant-based, which we clearly know is a better way of eating for reducing risk of chronic disease and better for our environment, more sustainable. Soy is one of the top plant sources of protein to switch to, and it turns out it has many health benefits in addition.
So we don't need to fear soy, because we did at once. A lot of women feared soy, right? There were reports that maybe it wasn't good for breast cancer or other things.
I think the misunderstanding came before there was a lot of research after 1999, because soy and other food products are phytoestrogens, which means that when you have estrogen, which is a hormone in the title, it can insinuate that like it's going to mess up your hormones. But the actual opposite is true. Phytoestrogens, phyto meaning plant, from the Greek word phyto, means a plant estrogen, and these turn out to have a balancing effect on our hormones because there's different types of estrogen receptors, and they work more so with the protective, preventative type and our anti-inflammatory.
Okay, so we're going to talk about, let's start with menopause and perimenopause. A lot of women, I love that menopause is getting its play, right? Oprah just did a huge special. All these books are coming out, all these TV shows. But women who are struggling with hot flashes, mood swings, all the other things, you're saying soy is actually something that's natural and could help you with those symptoms.
It not only can help with the symptoms, many studies have come out over the past 2 decades that show that soy, even consuming, there was a study that came out in Menopause Journal showing that just consuming a half a cup of soybeans, either in soups or salads, reduce hot flashes by 84%.
84%?
Yeah, so there were, it's pretty incredible. We've seen studies that range from anywhere between 20 to this study that was 84%. And the good thing is, because hormone replacement we know is not as dangerous as it used to be, but there's still a risk, especially when it comes to hormone-sensitive cancers. We know there is still a risk. And so what's great about soy and phytoestrogenic plants is that they not only help, but they don't pose a risk, and they have additional benefits. They're high in protein, all 9 essential amino acids. They have fiber in it, which we know decreases risk of things like colorectal cancer. And then they also have positive benefits on bone health. So it's a perfect thing to add to your diet as long as you're not allergic, to really help with menopause and hot flashes.
Okay, so we have no reason to fear soy. It's good for us.
It's good for us. Just go for non-GMO, because you don't want anything that has potentially pesticides or toxins in it, but go for the non-GMO and you'll be fine.
Okay, so let's talk about how we get soy. All right, so a soybean, if you like edamame, that's a soybean?
It is, yeah. So edamame, you go to like maybe if you like Thai food, you like if you like sushi. Many restaurants will have edamame beans like in the shell, and it's fun to eat them that way.
Yeah.
You could even buy it, get some non-GMO organic edamame beans, frozen food section.
I know, I keep them in my freezer. My kids actually love them. I think they're great to nosh onto like before dinner, because they can give you, you have to open them up and chew them a lot. They, when you're hungry, they kind of slow you down.
They do. And they're protein, which we know, especially for women going through menopause, perimenopause, so important. Absolutely. Yeah, so feel free to snack on them. They're good for the kids. Actually, there are studies showing that young women who consume soy, there was a large study in Asia that decreased their risk of getting breast cancer later on if
Really?
they consume soy. So it's fine.
So tell
for
our
you.
teenage daughters to eat it too.
Fine.
Okay.
Totally fine.
You brought up protein. This is something I'm trying to do, trying to get more protein. I think everyone over 40, we're all hearing you need more protein for metabolism, all these things. So edamame is one source, but soy milk, again, something that I probably don't buy or was avoiding. Maybe I was thinking of old science. I was switching more to other non-dairy milks. Soy milk is a good source of protein.
It is, and these studies that are showing decreased hot flashes, decreased severity, frequency, decreased risk of recurrence even of breast cancer in some studies, they are showing that some of it is actually due to consuming soy, and it's called isoflavone is the phytoestrogen in it, and you can get it in soy milk as long as your gut microbes are working properly. And that's probably another show about microbiome, but most people can really break it down to get the benefit. And as long as you get like organic, non-GMO soy milk, put it in your smoothie, like a half a cup a day is fine. And then you've got miso soup, which I love. I don't know if you like miso soup.
I do love miso soup. I've never seen miso like this, and I usually just get it at a restaurant. But so you can buy miso paste, and then you just put it in soup, and miso is soy?
Yeah, miso is soy. It's a fermented soy. There's even something called natto, which is a fermented soy that has been shown to decrease cholesterol, also may help the fibrin, the clotting of the arteries too. So natto is another thing, a traditional food, but my son will like literally take some of this out of the refrigerator and just eat it because it's salty too.
Oh, okay.
It has the soy sauce as well as another source.
Where do you get that? You get it at a grocery store?
This particular one is from my friend Bun, who is local and does a lot with wild greens and wild food. So this was his suggestion.
No, this is soy sauce, which I want to move on to. But what about just miso?
Yeah, miso. This is from the supermarket, Stop and Shop. Any of your major, grocery stores, you can get this. Look in the frozen food section or in the refrigerated section.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one's by Miso Master. But so before we move on to soy sauce, soy, again, you're saying is good for us and can really help women, especially if they're going in that midlife where hormones are fluctuating. Could even help if you are a breast cancer survivor or have breast cancer in your family. But the important thing is that you would really want people to get organic.
I do, and the reason why I really emphasize organic because food quality. And so if it's organic, we know it's not going to be genetically modified, decreased risk of inflammation. It's also not going to have pesticides that have been sprayed on it in preparation because soy is a highly processed. It can be a very highly processed food product as well. So let's go for the good quality to get the best, protein, and we don't get anything extra we don't want with it.
Okay. So back to milk, because that's an easy way, I think, for most women to add it. If you're going to get a Starbucks and you want a latte and you're sensitive to dairy or you're trying to get rid of dairy for some reason, and you want protein, soy would be the better choice?
Yes, yeah.
Like definitely not oat milk. I know there's not much protein in that. I've been choosing almond milk, but you would say soy milk.
Yeah, soy milk is great. I know, especially if you're blood type A, there's something about the interaction that works well. And I remember when I went to medical school, I switched to soy milk, and I actually lost weight because I didn't get the inflammation from dairy. I was still learning about many of the things, but soy milk for some people can actually, it's high in protein and it's not as inflammatory as dairy is for some people.
Okay, so soy milk, organic, unsweetened, because sometimes I say going to your favorite coffee shop, I don't know what they put in the soy milk, but sometimes soy milk can be really sweet, which might make it yummy, but then you're kind of getting that inflammation or whatever. So you really want us to get unsweetened soy milk.
Absolutely. And it's not hard you could actually make it yourself. And the Anti-Inflammatory Diet for Dummies book is coming out again. And we have a recipe in there.
And you're one of the authors of the Anti-Inflammatory Diet for Dummies.
Yes, I am.
Okay, Dr. Artemis Morris, right here in Connecticut. All right, let's talk about soy sauce. I actually have been doing more coconut aminos. I don't know. I thought it was healthier. I was trying to avoid too much soy sauce. Sometimes it also, I think, makes me bloated and it's very salty and retains water. So I don't know. Is soy sauce good for us?
Well, it's not going to get you the proteins. So,
Okay.
so soy sauce is like, and for if you're sensitive to gluten, you do want to avoid soy sauce because that can have wheat in it. Sometimes
Oh,
they add that.
That's why people will get coconut aminos. It's the
yeah,
gluten.
it's the gluten, but this one doesn't have it in it, and you
Let me
can
show
get.
everyone the brand. This is
Yeah.
Moromi, and this is made by a Connecticut company?
This is local. I love
Right
finding.
out of North Stonington.
Yeah.
Interesting. You can find it online at moromishoyu.com. Okay, or Google this, moromishoyu. Okay. So this is something that most people, soy sauce would be fine and good for us?
A little bit would be fine, but you really want to focus more on like the tofu, the soy milk, like the edamame, and then there's tempeh, which is really yummy too.
Tempeh I've never made. I have made some tofu, but what is tempeh?
Oh, tempeh is a delicious fermented soy product. And for anyone with gut issues, we need more fermented food.
Yeah.
And so miso is fermented.
Okay.
Tempeh is fermented. So that would be better for someone who has a little more sensitive gut.
Okay.
You might want to start with a fermented soy, like miso soup or tempeh, which they ferment, and then you can stir fry it like you would tofu. It's a great, really great.
And you can flavor it just like you would marinate any chicken or whatever. You can flavor soy or tempeh. And then soy is another thing. Rather tofu. I'm saying soy is another thing, but tofu. Yeah. So tofu's, I think, becoming more mainstream. Scott mentioned on the show that when he goes to Chipotle, he now gets soy, or he gets tofu rather. Some people can say, oh, I don't like it. It's boring. It doesn't have flavor. Is tofu good for us? And what's the easiest way for people who are not experienced to kind of get it into their diet and make it taste good?
Well, I think Scott had a great idea with going to Chipotle and choosing that as a meatless alternative.
Okay.
Like, I haven't tried it myself, so I have to try that. But it's not hard to make. And tofu doesn't have much of a flavor on its own. That's
it's just bland, yeah.
Yeah, that's why you can add flavor. You can make it like add ginger, or you can add turmeric to make it even more anti-inflammatory. And then stir fry it in extra virgin olive oil. We busted that myth last time. So it's a great thing. I remember making a tofu cheesecake when I was really at the height of my, going more vegetarian, vegan.
We did on the show on Great Day Connecticut. It was incredible. It was a tofu-based chocolate mousse. And John, our director, is saying that he makes burrito bowls with tofu. It's a nice alternative, right? It's less expensive and it's really quick and easy to cook.
Yeah, and now we know how healthy it is. Like half a cup a day had these very positive benefits for menopausal symptoms.
Half a cup a day for menopausal symptoms. And that would be either soy milk, miso, edamame, just a combination of these things.
Well, the studies for menopausal symptoms and preventing recurrence of breast cancer, and also for preventing, also decreasing mortality, were more on, if you're going to do a half a cup, it would be more half a cup of edamame beans would be one serving. 1 cup, so one serving would be half a cup of edamame. 3 ounces of tofu is 1 serving.
Okay.
And then 1 cup of soy milk. So you could vary, and you could do those like, let's say have a soy smoothie, and then maybe have some edamame beans as a snack later on. And they even come dried. I was looking for some dried edamame beans because you could also use those as a little snack too.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking because I'm sure, like anything else, if you're buying a lot of chicken and maybe you want to sub out one day, have a little soy, and get this extra firm tofu. It's ready to eat, so you don't even have to cook it. It's probably better if you fry it in the pan a little bit or whatever. But only 90 calories per serving, no sugar, no added sugars. This one specifically only has water, organic soybeans, and magnesium chloride. So we don't want this to be, you don't want it to have a lot of ingredients, or it's probably not good soy.
Exactly. And that goes for everything. Like, as close to nature as possible is going to be the best for your body as well. And, soy also, we didn't mention this, but texturized vegetable protein, TVP, is a big thing a lot of vegans go into. When I was studying acupuncture in China, there was this restaurant that literally made a fish out of soy, TVP. Okay. So you can get very fancy with soy products. You want to be careful. You made a really good point, is the least processed, because you can also get some very highly processed soy products out there.
Yeah, so don't just go and get tofu or a soy burger. Or a veggie burger that says it's got soy in it. I know veggie burgers, you've shown me, you really have to look. Sometimes they're worse than if you're trying to maybe just have a real beef burger at that point when there's 15 ingredients you can't pronounce.
Exactly.
Okay, so soy, just to sum it up so far, it's very good for women. Is it also good for men?
Yes, there is no. So I know men are afraid that they're going to get something called gynecomastia, which means another Greek word. Gynecomastia is like literally enlargement of the breast. That's one thing.
They don't want that.
No, they don't want that for sure. And that can happen when, especially men are doing a lot of testosterone because there is this enzymatic shift where they can increase their estrogen and have an increased risk. But really, the studies. So I reviewed, like preparing for today, I was like, there's really not any study that shows that it would do that. There was a couple of case studies. So the kind of studies I'm using to say that this is good for us, good for menopause, good for prevention, maybe even preventing recurrence of breast cancer from studies. This studies for men is like a case study of a some man that had like 3 of these a day. So you do want to
three of the whole packages,
like 3 big things of this a day.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I remember, anything. We can have too much of a good thing. They'll talk about like vitamin A toxicity if you eat too many carrots. You'd have to eat a lot, but some people were juicing like bags and bags of carrots. So I guess but it's the point being that men and women can benefit, and perhaps a lot of you out there have just avoided soy or just don't have any of it in your diet, and it could be something really good to add that's affordable and healthy and has protein.
Yes, and as we've talked about, like we're doing a breast health program at Artemis Wellness Center, and Connecticut has one of the highest rates of breast cancer in the country. So anything we can do with our forks, with our diet to prevent it is really what we want to be doing. And it's very simple to do, to incorporate like a non-GMO organic soy, some edamame beans into our diet would be one beneficial thing we can do.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors, and then come back, talk about more of the science behind how soy could actually really be helpful during the time of menopause, and also to prevent breast cancer, and how it can even help your teen girls, and I guess your boys too. But let's take a quick break.
Struggling with gambling? Wheeler Health's Better Choice program offers personalized support and treatment to help you regain control. Visit WheelerHealth.org to learn more and take the first step towards recovery today.
All right, we're out talking again about the question, is soy good or bad for me? I'm here with Dr. Artemis Morris. She's a board-certified naturopathic physician. She specializes in Mediterranean nutrition. I know a lot of people are realizing all over the internet, Mediterranean diet plans, things like this. I think people are still confused about what that means. But one simple way for us to eat a more Mediterranean diet, you come from the area of Crete where people live very, very long, into their hundreds with no chronic health problems, and they would eat things like soybeans, which, if you didn't know, is edamame. I don't know that I always knew soybeans were edamame.
Well, actually, soy is not a part of the Mediterranean diet, so this is like more of
okay.
like,
I thought it was.
Yeah.
So edamame is not Mediterranean at all?
No,
okay.
And I still love it.
It's just Asian, more Asian. Okay.
It's more like the most common vegan source of protein worldwide, but specifically China, Asian countries, this is where you see soy is the most common kind of bean.
Okay.
That's bean, and it has
I thought bean, and I'm thinking Mediterranean diet, but soybeans are really more, from Asia.
Yeah.
But, all of us are becoming more global, and I think moms are looking for easy ways to feel better, to cook, and also people are, the grocery prices, eggs, if you're getting protein that way, obviously very expensive. So this could be a new way to get your protein. You're giving it the thumbs up, totally healthy for us, and it's a lot less expensive.
And it is, yes, and it's great. There's actually, if we want to apply it to Mediterranean diet, Dr. Trichopoulou, she did the original pyramid for the Mediterranean diet with Walter Willett at Harvard and other colleagues, and she has something called the planetary health diet, which is kind of like how to apply Mediterranean diet worldwide.
Okay.
And soy would be one application. Like, if we can apply a really great source of protein, soy has all 9 essential amino acids in it. So even though, like, this is not something my family grew up with or that is part of the Cretan Greek diet, we do more lentils and chickpeas. Like, this is a great one to incorporate, and I hope they do. And definitely longevity is in there because my mom just turned 90 last month. God bless her.
God bless.
Looking good. And there's actually, that reminds me, there's some studies showing too that soy might actually help our skin and reduce wrinkles too. So
really, how does soy reduce wrinkles? Inquiring minds want to know.
There's a couple of studies I came across. So I think there's probably going to need to be more research on it, but I found that to be very interesting as well.
I know you're one of the authors of the Anti-Inflammatory Diet for Dummies. I also want to put if you're watching on YouTube or on our website or wherever you're streaming this, this is where you can find Dr. Artemis, the ArtemisWellnessCenter.com. You're based out of Milford. I know you see people, because a lot of it's telemedicine, all over the world. But if you are thinking about putting this into your diet on a regular basis, how does soy compare to, say, chicken? But a lot of us are eating a lot of chicken.
Right. Well, it's an
animal protein.
It's an animal protein, and there are studies actually showing that non-organic chicken might even increase, certainly can increase inflammation if you have too much of it, especially a poor quality, if it has toxins associated with it, and even some studies showing increased risk of urinary tract infection. So I have seen that sometimes correlate with patients too. So, we're going more plant-based as a culture, as a global shift if we want to be more sustainable with our food.
Okay.
And soy is a really nice way of doing something that's good for you to help with, 1/3 of our life is spent going through menopause. If you're a, biological woman, like you're going through 1/3 of your life, you're trying to deal with these hot flashes and all these symptoms. So having soy products is a great way, non-GMO, organic, like a half a cup of soybeans. The edamame is a great way of doing it and may even prevent cancer later on.
So I'm curious, we're seeing, for us, a lot of us are moms, I know watching this, and, I have a teenage girl, and I think a lot of us have been concerned about, all the toxins in the environment, and they're talking about early puberty and, whether or not the younger women are having hormonal imbalances. Just from the world we live in, is soy great for younger women, and would it help protect against some of these things?
Yes, there are observational studies that show just that. So there was a study that found that young women who were consuming soy on a regular basis had a decreased risk of getting pre-menopausal breast cancer. So there's a lot of studies out there, a lot of really great studies that are showing a benefit. And the really amazing thing is how our bodies work. So, hormone replacement, even though it's safer than we thought, it still comes with a risk. So there's still a risk of cancer, especially with progesterone that they're showing. More to come for research on that. But soy poses no risk, and it has multiple benefits because it also has the fiber, it has the protein, and it also works differently on our cells. So the benefit is that you're getting more, and it's safer.
Okay. So if you want to start incorporating this, how long, let's say a woman is struggling with perhaps hot flashes, how long would she start having the half a cup of soy a day before she'd notice that, wow, they've reduced?
It depends on the person. It can happen within a month to have some of the studies are 12 weeks.
Okay.
Some other studies show you need to take it regularly for even longer. But everyone's different. I've had patients that just incorporate it, and within a couple of weeks they're seeing benefits, especially since we're doing not just soy, we're doing other phytoestrogens like organic flax seeds that we've talked about. Maybe we're doing a high-end supplement that is also helpful. So on its own, you may see benefits within a couple of weeks, or you might need a month, but it could happen very quickly too. Some people, I have one patient that's extremely sensitive to soy, and so she notices things right away. So
in a good way, she's sensitive.
In a good way, yeah.
Okay. Are there people, how do you know if soy is bad for you?
So you want to, if you have allergies, so some people, if you have an allergy to soy, you definitely want to avoid it.
You would know that just because you probably know that you have is it a severe allergy, or how would you know if you're allergic?
Yeah, so the way you would find out about any IgE, anaphylactic allergy, to peanuts, you'd probably figure that out pretty early on.
Okay, so this is a real allergy that you would know, not just an intolerance or something like that. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so when we're talking about having an anti-inflammatory diet, soy is part of it.
It is, and it's a great plant protein. And besides the allergy, because you can get, that's a blood test, simple blood test, but you can have intolerances or sensitivities to anything, right? Including soy.
Okay.
I've seen garlic even, which is so sad.
I know.
But yeah, you can have intolerances to everything. So this is where I like starting with the fermented products for people. If it's a new product for you, start with the tempeh, start with the miso soup, start bringing in some of the edamame beans. You can have them as a snack and see how you feel.
Okay. So, I see those edamame snacks in the bag. I guess just watch it. But some of them are just like crispy edamame if you're out on the run and they're just coated in like salt and spices. That would be a good snack?
That would be perfectly fine as long as it doesn't have a lot of inflammatory oils with it. So soybean oil is not a good idea. So
that's the thing. Soybean, people are very getting into seed oils. Is soybean oil a seed oil that's bad? Or it's a bean oil.
It's a bean oil, but it is definitely not an anti-inflammatory oil. It's a pro-inflammatory oil. So any oil that's highly processed.
Okay.
And we talk about this in the Anti-Inflammatory Diet for Dummy book coming out. We're talking more about olive oil because we know
olive oil's great. Olive oil's safe. Get your extra virgin olive oil, right? Okay, so that's important to know. If you're thinking, yay, Dr. Morris just told me soy is good for me, you don't mean soybean oil.
No, not the oil.
Not the oil. Okay. So you might be thinking when you're reading these things, which you see soybean oil in a lot of foods that are probably processed, and think, oh, that's a good, healthier oil. Not the case.
Absolutely.
Okay. We mean soy in tofu, in tempeh, in edamame, in soy milk, in miso, even soy sauce, in small amounts. Anything else?
So there's the natto, which is natto kinase, and it's an acquired taste.
Oh.
I remember I had a nutrition student that lived in Japan for a while that brought it in.
Yeah.
And it's a little gooey.
No, okay. I'm thinking that for the everyday person out there who's like, okay, I just found out soy is actually something I should be putting into my diet. These are easy things you just got right at Whole Foods, and I know that regular grocery stores, if you're in Connecticut, Bridge tofu is wonderful right out of Middletown. It's nice and firm. If you're used to more eating chicken or things, you might like the extra firm, right? Just because it's not as... some people have a thing with the texture, so get the extra firm if you want chicken-like.
Yeah, absolutely. And try the tempeh.
Try the tempeh.
Because that's nice, as well. So that would be a good one.
We're out of time at this time, but I want to let you know that you can find Dr. Morris. She's at ArtemisWellnessCenter.com. You can find her at Dr. Artemis on social media. And she also has a free women's wellness group called She Care. You can probably find a link to that on your website, right?
Yes, we're updating now, but it should be there soon.
Okay. All right, so Dr. Artemis, you can also see her right at the Artemis Wellness Center in Milford. Make an appointment if you want. But thank you so much for enlightening us.
Thank you, Kara.
Thanks for coming. We always love it when you're here. And all of you, thanks for watching Kara's Cures, where we have cutting-edge wellness from credible sources. Have a great day and be well.
CURES, sponsored by Wheeler Health's Better Choice program. More at wheelerhealth.org.